There we go, everybody. I don't know what they're going to do, if they're going to go south or north, but there are the royal family, those little spots in front of the vehicle. Little spots with their own spots. And all three of them were here. Karula's on the left, Xongile on the right, Xongile in the middle, and here comes little Hosana from the left. Oh, look. Isn't that cool? Just wonderful. And this is great because they're in the open, so we can see the different sizes. And just quickly, if you are a new viewer, these are the kind of stars of our show, really. On the right hand side, Karula the Queen, coming up on her 13th birthday next month. That's her there. In front, the very elegant Xongile. Reminds me quite a lot of Jamie, really. And then to the left of that, we've got Hosana, who's a very stocky little fellow for his age. He's not tall, or he's not short, but he's very stocky. And they have just passed their first birthday. Let's see if we can't get around the front of them. I think they're probably going back to the carcass, and I suspect they were probably having a drink somewhere around here, perhaps even a treehouse dam. They're becoming more and more independent as the days go by, and of course eventually they are going to decide to leave us, unfortunately. But that is the way of things with the leopard. Now this isn't going to be the best view of them, but they're going to walk straight past the front of the car eventually. There they are there. And I don't want to go any further forward, we'll block the view from the other guests. There we go. Is that not fun to have our little royal family with us today? Marvellous stuff. Karula cleaning her recalcitrant little boy, and now Xongile is sitting off to the side and waiting patiently for her brother and mother, to get up and move. There she is. She's just looking up into that vehicle. I know this isn't the best view, everyone, but they are on... I suppose I could go down onto the road, but here comes little Xongile, so let's wait for her. I think she's getting a little irritated with Mum and brother. She's so sweet. A wonderful question. Well, the question's good, but the name is better. Sofa-tato. Sofa-tato, you want to know how many males Karula the Queen has mated with? Sofa-tato, you'd be shocked if I told you. Sofa-tato, we don't know at this stage. I think at least 5. There's definitely been Tingana. Maybe it's not quite as many as 5. There's definitely been Mvula. The father of the litter before quarantine in Djuma was a chap called... what was he called? He's from the far north, the Jordaan's male, I think. And there will probably have been 1 or 2 others. So at least 3 that I know of, which means that there are definitely more than that. Alright, we're going to move a little bit, because it's obviously not the best view in the world here. So let's just reverse slowly back. So sofa-tato, that's normally the case, that a female will mate with different males, but that's because, of course, the dominance hierarchy amongst the males changes more frequently than it does with the females. And so, this is beautiful, look at that. There they go, all 3 of them. and so it means that every time she comes into estrus, or quite often, a new dominant male will be, or a new male will be the dominant when she comes into estrus each time. And then sometimes they will mate with multiple males during one estrus period. This is wonderful. Soraya, you say, how will Hosana react when mum is not feeding him? Soraya, he's already kind of half feeding himself. The process of independence amongst these leopards is very much, please excuse the power lines coming up here, it's a subtle process. It doesn't take place quickly, and what that means is that when they do go independent, they've already made many kills on their own, and so a little bit like we've had times. Jeepers, that game drive radio is deeply loud. What happens is they spend more and more time independently. Oh, hello, boy. There's brother and sister here. So they spend more and more time on their own, hunting and doing bits and pieces while their mum goes hunting looking for them. And eventually they just don't come back. Eventually mum doesn't look for them anymore, and by then they're so used to being on their own that it doesn't actually make a difference to them. Isn't this fantastic? I can't believe our luck today. Hello, little fellow. They have been eating themselves to pieces. May you say, will we see Xongile's cubs when she's old enough to have them? Yes, I suppose we would. If she sets up a territory close to her mother's, I have no reason to believe that she wouldn't. And certainly, if trends continue and we manage to keep increasing our traversing as we have over the last little while, well, chances are we will almost certainly have her within our traversing, and that means we'll see her little cubs. That's not for some time, though. Here comes the long-suffering mother. Oh, this is wonderful. She's going to say hello to her little boy again. Jamie, you say, does it look like Karula favours one of the cubs over the other? That's a really interesting question. No, I don't think it does. I mean, I'd love to hear from you guys. You guys have watched them as much as I have, in fact more, because you watch them even when other guides are watching them. I don't think that there is any favouritism showed, but I'd love to know what you think. She does this with all of them, with both of them, and sometimes she'll be more with one than the other. Generally, no, I wouldn't say that there's any favouritism shown. This is a very special little sighting we're having here. And while this is cleaning, of course, it is largely just affection. Look at the blood on her neck. That's quite interesting, actually. Just get right in there, Craig, if you can. That's a wound. She's been cut there. I seriously doubt it was by one of these guys, and I wonder if it wasn't during the course of hunting that kudu. Or perhaps they've lost the meal. Maybe she took a bit of a hit from a hyena or something like that. Oh, now she's cleaning her little boy. My mother still tells me what I should, when I should and shouldn't clean, and that sort of thing, so it's perfectly normal. This is very cool. Mothers are always fascinated that their sons, of course, should have clean ears. As I say, my mother exactly the same. Look at his little jaws, his little teeth. They're not so little anymore, are they? He's making little grunts you can't hear. He's going, oh, oh, oh. There we go. That's beautiful. Now, the good news here, everyone, is that they're moving north into Djuma, which means we might be able to stay with them. We might have to leave. We might have to leave fairly shortly if they don't move, because I don't want them to be crowded out here. And there are lots of other people waiting to try and get into the sighting. Let's just move to the side, yeah? There we go. This is fantastic. Yeah, Holly, I agree. Holly, you reckon she cares for them equally, but that Hosana behaves like a big baby around her. I agree. Hosana definitely loves his mum very much indeed. She has swapped there, hasn't she? She's now with the little one, with Xongile. And Xongile is playing nursemaid to her mother, which of course is what daughters do. And now little Xongile going across to have an investigation. Look. And look how elegant the little one is. She's so petite. Courtney, no. In the same way that the house cat doesn't, you say, does a leopard ever drag its tail on the ground? No, they don't. They don't. They hold them up. No, I think they may. Oh, now they look like they're going to go south. We don't want them to do that. We want them to stay to the north. Right, everybody, I think we're probably going to have to move out at some stage fairly soon, just to make some space here. Although, no, there are only 3 of us here now. We're okay now. Oh, this is wonderful. Sorry, I know I sound a little bit distracted, but the Game Drive radio is going fairly ballistic in my ear. That's because, of course, these are very popular animals and everyone wants to see them. What we're going to do, I tell you what, we're going to move on to the fire break, which is just off here. And then we may or may not lose visual of them. But at least we'll be able to see as and when they are sort of still on Djuma or not still on Djuma. Watch heads, everyone. I think that's probably going to be it for this next little while. We'll just keep an eye out on where they go. They may well be going straight back to the kill. Maybe it hasn't been stolen. While I figure out what's going on here, well, what else is out there, everyone, is that the two cubs have come north onto Djuma. Brilliant news. Karula's still on the boundary, with these chaps still here, and having a very pleasant little drink. And you might recognize this area. This is where they were cavorting around. When was it? It was the third TV show, I think, when it was rainy and blustery and cold, and Brent spent 3 hours with them just playing here in this mud. But they're so sweet when they still like each other like this. And once puberty sets in, of course, their affection for each other will start to reduce profoundly. Yes, Rob, to a certain extent. You're in Liverpool and you say the restrictions on viewing these animals relaxed slightly because they're a bit older. Rob, supposed to be never more than 3 vehicles in a sighting, and that will maintain. But yes, they can be viewed on their own now without their mother. They can be viewed at night now without their mother because they're over a year old. So yes, there is a certain amount of relaxation of the rules because they're a little bit older now and they've survived to this age. Isn't this cool? Okay, I'm just going to call this in. My radio is now working again. In fact, I don't need to because it's been called in by Rexon. So I don't know what Karula's playing at. I think she's maybe thinking about going back to the kill. I don't know. But these guys were thirsty, so they came up to have a drink here. Now you see, the difficulty is that now they're going back to their mum. There's a sighting on the go on the boundary road with Karula. So suddenly you can have a situation, if we follow them, where there are 6 vehicles in a sighting, and that to me is not an acceptable situation. So we're not going to follow them down to the south. We will wait here and see what happens though. I'll just go slightly forward. That's interesting. You know what she's doing there, Craig? If you can get on the little female in the front, she's almost marking territory. She's rubbing her head against that bush. I think she may even have sprayed it. Let's watch Hosana now as he goes towards the same bush. And apparently she did actually spray it. It's very interesting. See what he does. He's going to go to the same bush and smell it. Rub his head against it. Make a little mark. That's interesting. So they're getting a little bit more adult. They're starting to exhibit adult tendencies. You're right. You're right, sis. Inkom. I'm just telling them they're trying to lend me a radio. Alright, that's going to be it from this sighting for now. I will hang around here for a little while, but I'm just going to let Rex have an opportunity to go and see Karula. We could probably go in there, but then there will be 4 vehicles in the sighting. Yes, I suppose it depends on your perspective, but I have to agree with Brent there. She is a little bit more spectacular than a ginger domestic. Yeah, we were just coming past. We were on our way to Arathusa to see if we couldn't see if they don't have some lions around there for us. And she was just walking down the road again, and there doesn't seem to be a great deal of vehicle activity, so we're going to hang around here. And we might have to leave fairly soon, but that doesn't matter. We can enjoy it while it lasts. She is looking to the south. We only had Xongile and Karula. That's Xongile there. Unless I've gone mad, which is entirely possible, but I think that's Xongile. And that is, unfortunately, they are looking to the south. So I can only think that the kill has been lifted from them, pilfered by the pilfering hyenas. Of course, hyenas are well within their rights to pilfer out here. It's not like they don't get pilfered from themselves. And much like the crocodile, that's what they've evolved to do. Right, I think that's Karula actually. Sorry, that's Karula, that's not Xongile. Just a vehicle going past. Tom, as you say, she's stalking. There seems to be some stalking. Indeed. I'm just quickly going to talk to Mike on the radio. Mike, you don't need to leave. I've already had a good sighting of her, so you stay, I'll move out. So as soon as that, I think we are going to have to leave, everyone. But what a nice little surprise we had here. We're going to leave them stalking off into the distance with one view. Just go to the right there. Let's get one last view of Xongile there. Her little head sticking through the bushes. There it is. Beautiful. She's so distinctive, isn't she? And we'll carry on. Okay, everyone, that was a nice surprise. A bit of a bonus. Let's head across to Jamie.